I want to share with you the story of how I quit my job and trusted my own self to just make my own income and pay my own expenses. You like my shirt, by the way? My daughter bought it for me when she was 3 or 4. She just saw it and she's like, my mom will love this shirt, and she bought it for me. And it fit me just perfectly somehow or another. Anyways, just a little backstory for starters. I grew up working for my parents at their print shop. So they were super flexible with me. I could always leave on vacation or, take time off if I needed to, or take sick time, like not paid sick time, but basically I could work whenever I wanted for the most part. And then even as I was taking work more seriously and working a 40-hour-a-week job with my parents, it still was just so flexible. Like, obviously, for the most part, I was working 40 hours a week, but if I needed to take time off or wanted to go out of town or anything, I could pretty much always do it. Then after I got married, my career was, I worked at Dairy Queen for a bit. I worked at a warehouse for a while, but I quit when I got pregnant with my first kid. And then from there, I did my YouTube channel. I did some side jobs. I had some income coming in. I also had a rental house that I was renting and I was earning rental income from that. But yeah, just never had a full-time regular thing. And I didn't have to be at an office or be anywhere at any time. I had such a flexible lifestyle. So when I decided to go to film school in Dallas, I had to get a job so that I could pay for my rent because I would be staying in Dallas by myself. Well, ended up staying with my cousin, but I had to pay rent, I had to pay bills, I had to pay utilities, I had to readjust because of some technical difficulties, but I was forced back into working regular jobs so that I could pay for all my stuff plus my film school. Well, I forced myself into it. It was completely all me. So I first got a job, like a technical 9 to 5, which was like pretty loose and flexible still because we had to go to the office in the morning, but it was a sales job. So we would go out to location for the entire day and then go back to the office in the evening to like do a wrap up and then go home. But the bosses, like, it didn't matter if we had to, just go straight from our house to our location for the day or if we had to miss our wrap up at the end of the day. They were super chill. So, and then also traveling to the other side of Texas to see my kids once in a while, I also was able to just like do my selling over there. So I would stay with my kids, get up in the morning, go and just do my own selling in the area, and then go back home to my kids in the evening. So yeah, it was super chill, super flexible. And then I got a waitressing job. I thought waitressing was going to be like easy money. I would just get tons of money and it would be super easy. Turns out waitressing is really hard. It takes some getting used to. It takes really good memory. You have to be quick on your feet. You have to, oh my gosh, it's a lot. If you've never waitressed before, you should try it because, oh my goodness, it has completely changed my perspective of waitresses and waiters. But again, this was kind of weird hours. It wasn't a 9 to 5. I worked some days early, some days late. It wasn't a regular 5 days and 40 hours a week. So during that time, I was working my sales job, I was working my waitressing job, and I was going to school, which, to be honest, the film school was like pretty chill too. So it's like I would sometimes be on set for a 12-hour day or 14-hour day, but it wasn't like I wasn't going to school every single day. It was just like do your homework online, meet with, hi, what's up? Oh, what the heck? Forgot what I was saying. I had a slight interruption. So yeah, it was a super busy time. Everything was pretty flexible, but eventually my sales job, I didn't really like the way management was working and things just weren't fully working out for me there. So I ended up quitting that job. I was like, it's okay. I can just pick up more hours at the restaurant and I can still pay my bills. And then as I worked more and more with the film school, I started meeting more people, growing my network, and people started hiring me for different jobs. And so I started getting to the point where I was like, okay, I could maybe quit my waitressing job. I'm not going to get into all this stuff about the restaurant, but I ended up getting to a point where I dreaded going to work. I did not like going there. Besides that, waitressing was super hard and I was just, yeah. Oh, by the way, I started out as a busser and then I just transitioned into waitressing. And of course, the waitressing paid a lot better than busing, but so hard. So then my sister was about to move, this big move. She was living on an island, Guantanamo Bay. If you haven't watched my Gitmo video, check it out. But she was moving back to the States and there was going to be like this whole really long, hard transition. And so she had this like video editing job that she was doing for somebody. And she kind of said, hey, would you want to take this over while I'm moving? Like for a few months, this would be whatever, gave me all the details. And I thought, dang, that would be incredible. That would take over the amount of money that I'm earning at the restaurant, or not take it over, but it would be like, it was going to cover most of my expenses. And so I thought about it, watched this video by Cody Warner a long time before that, and I kept thinking about it. So the more I thought about it, the more I just could not get it out of my mind. And I just thought, if I do what Cody Warner said to do in this video, I should be able to grow my network even further. Okay, so there's this one job that I got from my sister, right? That was going to be like half of my expenses. And then I picked up another job, a video editing job from honestly a super sketchy person that he ended up owing me a bunch of money that he never paid me and still to this day has not paid me. I don't think he ever will because I heard that he has done this with other people. But anyways, I told myself that if I could at least do this one job for my sister and enough videos per month from this other guy who was going to be paying me for video editing, I would be able to cover all of my expenses. And then with growing my network and doing this thing that Cody Warner said to do, I would be able to grow my income even more so that I would be like super comfortable. And it would be way better than waitressing because video is what I wanted to get into and it was what I was going to school for. And waitressing was just not for me. Like, thank you, waitresses, waiters out there. Y'all are amazing. I mean, not all of you, but that job is wow. Okay, so I decided that I was going to quit. And after I decided that, a few more days passed. I got hired for another job that was going to be a 2-week long project, working on set. And I was going to be starting, I can't remember if it was Sunday or Monday. I think it was Monday because I went into work on Sunday and I told my boss, this other job that is actually what I want to be doing in my career, they are hiring me for this thing that's starting tomorrow. So today's my last day. He was kind of like not surprised, but also kind of surprised. He was like, I understand, like, this is what you want to do. You just know that if you quit without a 2 weeks notice, you can't come back and work for us ever again, right? I'm like, totally okay with that. I'm not coming back to work with y'all. So I quit. I had already quit my sales job. I quit my waitressing job. I set myself this plan of what I'm going to do to make my income to cover my expenses. And I did it. And I trusted and I jumped. I was just like, I don't know. I've had a history of good things happening to me, which isn't something that you should just completely trust to be able to say, I'm quitting my job. Like, goodbye, regular income. I have stuff to say about full-time jobs and stable income because obviously if you're hired by somebody else, there's always the possibility that they can, I was going to say quit you, but that's not the word. They can fire you at any given moment. But also, I think that growing up with entrepreneurial parents, my mom started her printing business on her own. Well, obviously with support and stuff. My grandma actually started a painting business when she was like in the middle of mothering kids. Several of my siblings have started their own things, and I've worked for a couple of my siblings, I've worked for my parents, I've worked for entrepreneurs. I've just kind of built up over time this confidence in my ability to do my own thing. I recognized that at every job that I worked, I was more, I'm not saying this to brag or anything, I'm just saying like my parents raised me, this is like kudos to my parents. My parents raised me in a way that I was a hard worker, and I am a hard worker, and I know I have to be disciplined enough to work and earn my income. Like I wasn't just going to end up being a bum on the street. And I guess I also had the trust in like my support network. I had people who were going to take care of me if I was completely nosediving, but also having my YouTube channel and doing side jobs that didn't require specific hours at an office, that really built up my discipline over time to where I could be like, okay, I know how to be in charge of my own time. I know how to take care of the things that I need to do. I'm very responsible. I know about money. I can add stuff together and know that my income is at least the same as or more than what my expenses are. I know how to save. I know how to not spend. I can do all these things. And I think at that point where I was ready to quit my waitressing job, I kind of needed a reason to push harder on the film stuff. And I just thought if I quit the waitressing job, it's gonna give me that extra push to be like, okay, I'm serious about this. I am going all in, and it just has to work. One more thing that I knew I could fall back on if I needed to was I could get a job at a gas station or a grocery store or a restaurant or anywhere, basically, just an entry level job. And I could do that again if I needed to. I wasn't going to die if I had to go back to be a waitress for a while and rebuild up my income. But yeah, I had people at each of my jobs telling me, like, wow, you work really well, or like they can rely on me and they know I'm going to be there when I say I'm going to be there, or when the schedule says I need to be there. I'm going to work hard and I'm going to do my job the best that I can. And I also knew that I had references of people who could say, yeah, she knows how to work and be a good employee. So that is how I went from working to taking the leap and just working for myself. Eventually, after I was working for myself for about 6 months, I was literally on vacation visiting my family, and someone came up to me and said, hey, I have, my business that I started with whoever else a couple of years ago. We're looking for somebody X, Y, and Z, and like we think you'd be a good fit. Can you come work for us? And I pretty much, yeah, I said yeah. I said okay. And so then I went back to working a 9 to 5, except this is like way more serious than I've ever had before, which thankfully I love my job. So it's not hard to see myself here for many years. But you never know. You never know. Just saying, you never know. But currently, I don't see myself doing anything else right now. But it is a little strange going from like freelance, completely doing my own thing, to gotta be at the office from 8 to 5, basically. I mean, it's still a pretty flexible job, to be honest, because it's very much like remote. I can work remote, but we don't. We all work at the office. But that is something that I would like to talk about in another video, how I feel and what it's been like going from freelance entrepreneur to 9 to 5 working for somebody else on a paycheck. So definitely very different. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.